if you want a very real look at what it is like for many people in America, I'm having a very American experience right now, which is I'm crying at work and I have to just keep working. And this isn't even my main job. This is a secondary job. I'm just tired. I'm tired and I'm scared.
Today's video is very special. We all know that a lot of Americans have been recently sharing their videos, explaining their struggles, their tough living conditions, financial stress, and also feeling unheard. Chinese viewers on Rednote didn't just sympathize with Americans, but they also shared how they survived similar hardships like poverty or fighting for stability, and now they're swapping strategies to how to organize, cope with stress, and even push for change. And it's raw and honest. I would request you to be kind in the comment section. This is so sensitive and you can see that people are in pain. Like the video for recommendations, subscribe if you're new here. Also share your thoughts in the comment section. What are your thoughts on this particular?
I did want to add, and I do feel like it is important to say though, that the people who are saying that they're suffering in America, you know, it's really important that you believe them, because the people who are doing well, they're probably coming from an advantaged lifestyle anyways, where they already had access to a lot of wealth. And the people who are suffering are those that didn't have access to that wealth or the institutional advantages that would allow them to succeed in America. And so I think that one of the things that, as you know, if you're coming from, you know, Asia, just China especially, and you're looking at this from this perspective, it's really important to understand that, you know, there is a myth about America being the best country in the world, and it is a myth, right? We are not the best at anything except school shootings and war. And so it's really, I think, imperative that people really take a look at this myth that they've been sold and really critically analyze it and see it for the lie that it is, and understand that you can succeed here and you can do well, but also there's a lot of struggling and there's a lot of hardship and there's not a lot of support. And so it's not necessarily, you know, the place, the beautiful country that you've been told it is. It's a place of struggle, and you can struggle and you can come out on top, and that's definitely true. But you can also struggle and fail and end up with absolutely nothing. So keep that in mind.
My dear long-lost American pen pal, I didn't know how many of you sit in your cars after work, staring at your front doors, too exhausted to go inside. I didn't know how many of you hold back tears in the grocery store watching prices rise while your paycheck stays the same. I didn't know how many of you are drowning in debt, in exhaustion, in silence. I've spent the past few weeks listening, reading, learning. Every comment, every message, every conversation. It all started to sound like the same story. Different names, different places, but the same pain. As if you were all just one person, speaking in unison, telling the same truth over and over again. You're not alone. You've just been made to believe that you are. Because in your world, suffering is meant to be endured, not shared. I've learned that where you are, struggle is seen as weakness. Men are told to be strong. Women are told to hold everything together. No one wants to be the one who complains, the one who isn't grateful, the one who brings down the mood. So you keep it all inside. You tell yourself it's just you. That maybe you're the one who isn't working hard enough. That maybe you just made bad choices. But that's the biggest lie they've told you. Because it's not you. You're not the problem. Your struggle is not a personal failure. It is the systemic design. You see, I came to this space to simply connect, to offer a safe place where we could share our lives, our stories, where I could offer a little bit of warmth and understanding from across the ocean. But what happened instead was that you opened my eyes. You, through your words and your pain, have shown me just how deep the cracks run in the world that I've known. When you came to Xiaohongshu from TikTok, you saw a different life, a life I hadn't realized was so far removed from what I knew. You saw a world where people can afford their homes, their food, their healthcare, A world where people don't have to work 2 or 3 jobs just to scrap by. A world where families can enjoy a meal without the stress of counting every dollar. And I realized something. I didn't know how bad it was where you are, but now I can't unsee it. You share your struggles, your daily battles, and I've come to understand that what you've been told, what we've all been told, is a lie. You've been fed the lie that everything is your responsibility, that if you just keep working harder, you'll get ahead. But it's not that simple. The reality is much darker. I've heard the stories that break my heart. Stories like a father wishing he would die in a car accident so his family could collect the insurance money and have few months of financial relief. He thought, maybe if he were gone, they could live the life he's been unable to provide. It's not a one-off. This is a reality that so many of you are living. Or a mother who spends every waking hour working 2 jobs, taking care of her kids, but still can't afford the basics. She holds on to hope that somehow things will change, but deep down she knows it's not enough, and she wishes just for a moment that she could give her children a life where they don't have to struggle every single day. These stories are not rare, they're everywhere. And these are the lies you've been sold. That if you just work harder, everything will get better. That you should be grateful for what you have. That you're alone in your suffering. But none of these are true. The system is designed to keep you struggling, to keep you just above water, but never quite able to breathe freely. The cost of living rises, wages don't. Healthcare costs skyrocket, you get a raise, but it's only enough to cover the increase in prices, not enough to improve your life. And yet, they convince you it's all your fault, that you just need to work harder, sacrifice more, and keep pretending everything is fine. But this is not normal. You're not weak for struggling. You're not lazy for needing rest. You're not selfish for wanting a life where you can breathe easily. But here's the thing. You're not alone, and you never will be again. I'm not just here writing to you. I'm standing with you, and I'm here to tell you, you deserve more. You deserve a life where you don't have to wonder if you make it through the next month. You deserve to rest without guilt, to live without fear of losing everything at a moment's notice. I know it's hard to imagine what kind of life when you've been trapped in this cycle for so long, but I believe in you. I believe in the power of realizing that you are not the problem this system is. You've been conditioned to think that struggling is a badge of honor, that working yourself into the ground means you're doing it right. But I'm here to tell you, that's a lie. You're doing enough. You've always been enough. But this world, this system, is not designed to let you thrive. What if we didn't have to live this way anymore? What if the world could change, starting with all of us understanding that we're not alone? That's why I'm here. That's why I write to you. Because we've started building something bigger than just survival. We're building a community, a place where your struggles are seen, where your pain is shared, and where you don't have to carry the weight alone. Here, you don't have to always be the strong one. You don't have to hold everything together. You don't have to hide your tears, your fears, your exhaustion. Here, we can break down. We can cry. We can be vulnerable. And it will not make us weak. It will make us strong. And maybe, just maybe, that's where change begins. With love and understanding. Your Chinese pen pal, D.
小红书
Let me be the one to tell you, please don't come to America. It's not what your mental health, it's not what your physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being. This country right now is purposely, effectively, and efficiently destroying, disrupting, and taking the meaning of life out of life. Things are expensive. There's property taxes, there's homeowners insurance, there's auto insurance, there's mortgage insurance. We're being taxed. Everything we have is being taken away from us. But the country is so divided due to racism for us to realize this.
It just seems like every turn
there's some kind of ridiculous obstacle making life harder that doesn't have to be there. But it's there because there are greedy, wealthy people at the top that want to take every opportunity they can to exploit from us.
Hello guys, sometimes the revolution and reform is just inevitable. Through Chinese history, just like last dynasty, it has to be thrown over. And in Chinese history, if you take a quick look, you can see so many times revolution, and from one dynasty into another new one. I wish you guys can get out of this kind of tragedy. There's nothing for you to fight. You only have a job there. So I hope you can keep yourself safe, get away from it.
Significance of reform, a reflection on historical transformation and social progress. The Qing dynasty, the last imperial dynasty in Chinese history, indeed faced a series of complex issues in its later stages. The rigid feudal autocratic system, combined with corruption among the ruling class, led to a widening gap between the rich and the poor. Excessive taxes burdened the common people, and outdated social norms, like foot binding, severely violated human rights, suppressing the freedom and development of individuals. The opium trade, forced upon China by Western powers, further devastated the economy and people's lives, pushing the nation to the brink of a deep-seated crisis. However, the Chinese people's unyielding spirit and the call for change eventually led to a series of revolutionary movements. The 1911 revolution overthrew the Qing dynasty, marking the end of the feudal autocratic monarchy and opening the door to China's modernization. After decades of arduous struggles and reforms, especially since the founding of the People's Republic of China in 1949 and the implementation of reform and opening up policies, China has achieved remarkable development. People's living standards have improved significantly, with poverty alleviation efforts lifting hundreds of millions of people out of poverty. There is full respect for human rights, and people enjoy extensive democratic rights, freedom of speech, and opportunities for personal growth and development. In contrast, contemporary American society, despite its highly developed economy, also faces many problems. The capital-dominated social structure has led to severe social inequality. A large number of low-income groups struggle with housing, medical care, and education. The racial divide persists, and incidents of racial discrimination and police violence against ethnic minorities frequently occur, revealing deep-seated human rights issues. History clearly shows that reform is the driving force behind social progress. Just as China overcame the backwardness of the feudal era through reform and revolution, the United States can draw lessons from history. It needs to reflect on its social and economic systems, break through the barriers of vested interests, and promote comprehensive social reforms to address the issues of inequality and human rights violations, so as to achieve more just and
It takes courage to be able to share a story. And this is what happens when people share their struggles honestly. And we are starting to realize how we are connected as a people. Just imagine a guy in the US sharing their story and someone from China relate to what they're going through, and suddenly you've gotten support groups, swapping real solutions, and it's tough out there. But solidarity is what brings us together, and it brings comfort even as we journey through what we are going through. We've seen people here share how they felt like their world was coming to an end, but when they interacted with Chinese content on Rednote, they realized that they still live beyond what they're going through. Yeah, beyond the hopelessness that you're going through. If you're vulnerable, you can be able to find solutions. You can see people who relate to what you're going through and give you solutions, maybe just comfort you, and you'll realize that there's nothing that you cannot overcome. And we know that things will get better in America. I know it's hard to believe right now with all that is happening, but things will change. There's nothing that stays constant. It's only supreme beings who don't change, but situations change. And also, if we can't change the situation, we can also alter how we look at those situations for our benefit, for our mental health, for us to be able to survive and live, not just survive, but live, meaningfully through those storms. Thank you for being here. Like the video for recommendations, subscribe, and also support me here through the thank button. I will appreciate that. Thank you for being here.